Welcome back, YouTubers and fellow bibliophiles, to the Reading Challenge chats with me, Book Dragon 9 or number 9, whatever. Before I get into it, I just want to kind of thank you, those of you who caught the first video and gave some support. If you haven't, go back and watch that one. If you enjoy the videos, please give them a like, a thumbs up. Press the subscribe button. It helps me out and it's free for you. And also, click that notification button. That way you can get notified when new videos get posted after I finish a book and do the chat on it. So we're going to go into book 2 of my 2022 reading challenge, which was the first novel by the New Zealand author Janet Frame called Owls Do Cry. And it was written in 1960. For those of you who don't know Janet Frame, a lot of people who do know her from the movie An Angel at My Table, which was done for New Zealand TV. Kind of how she went through 8 years of really bad mental health care and had a whole bunch of electric shock therapy. That's not really mentioned in this book, but even though Janet says this book was not autobiographical, the town, which if you read the autobiography, which we'll talk about in another episode coming up, the town in this book was just supposed to be called W. She didn't even have a town named for it. She was from Oramaru, New Zealand. The publisher changed the city name from W to Waimaru, so it made it seem like it was much more biographical, and she kind of denies this in the autobiography. But here's the interesting thing. If you were to read this and then read the first part of the autobiography, there are parts that are literally word for word. So I know Janet's not around anymore. She passed away, I believe, in 2007. She's not around really to kind of defend that, but just saying, I think that's something worth noting. What is this book about? Well, it's about a poor family in Waimaru, New Zealand, and they're called the Withers family. And another reason why I think this is more autobiographical, is because one of the characters, which really is her brother, is an epileptic and has seizures. And her brother had epilepsy himself and had a lot of seizures. And they talk about, trying to find cures for epilepsy and all of that. And, even though they kind of do in this one too, again, it just makes it a little bit more autobiographical. But it's a darker story because it's really dealing with kind of the aging process and how, as we get older, those golden years may not seem so golden. Especially with the father, Bob Withers. Vera is kind of like Janet, but we don't really get into that character's mind in here. She ends up in a mental institution. And her other sister, who has the same nickname in this book as it does in the autobiography, Chicks, goes through a really radical transformation. And we see the materialistic side of, I guess, what a poor upbringing can bring when you kind of get into, high society, and you kind of leave that behind. She becomes, very embarrassed about her brother. And, really all of the kids were embarrassed of her brother because, epilepsy was something that a lot of people didn't know. It was, they had fits, was the way they worded it. But, really this book is again, it's not, if you're looking for a good, happy read, this one isn't for you. If you're looking for something that's going to make you think, and think about kind of the aging process and just kind of where we go, as we go through life, then I'd say give it a try. It might surprise you. For those who are more, I guess, into existentialist fiction, you might like this as well, because I think reading the Janet Frame that I have, which is basically 8 novels, which we'll be talking about coming up, because those are already done, and I'm trying to catch up now doing the reviews. But eight novels, a poetry collection, and then her autobiography. She kind of fits along, I guess, the Sartre Hesse existentialist fiction, where there's just not a lot of happiness going on, and characters make their own choices, and they do they do what they do, and they make their choices, and they are who they are, and they end up either getting rewarded positively for that or negatively for that. Really no way to tell until you actually read the book and get to the end. So really, that's what this book is about. It's the Withers family, and it's very semi-autobiographical of part one of her autobiography. And like I said, if you were to read this and then read the autobiography, there are just parts that are word for word, and you're just like, Janet, how can this not be autobiographical? It just seems like it is. It may not be total fact. I mean, yes, it is. It's a fictional family, but it's very much based on her family, I believe. And as I read other novels and then read the autobiography, I started to notice other characters out inside and outside of New Zealand that she seemed to just kind of draw from and put those characters into their place. So check this out. I gave it 5 stars on GoodReads. I think it was a good book, definitely a good debut novel, considering she wrote it in a little shack at New Zealand writers Bob Sargason's house. All she had was just kind of natural window light in this little army shack, and she basically typed out the novel, kind of followed the routine, and got it done, got it published, and began her writing career. So we'll talk more about her life when we get kind of the autobiography and probably the next book. But I'm going to wrap it up here by saying again, I would check it out. It's a good book, not a happy read. So I mean, if you're looking for that feel good, I want to come out of here smiling and laughing and feeling really good party kind of thing, no, not for you. But if you're looking for something that is different and will make you think, yeah, I would say this one is for you. So give it a try. So again, I appreciate you guys watching the videos. If you enjoy the videos, again, leave a thumbs up. Press the subscribe button. It's free for you, and it helps me out a lot. And press the notification button. That way you know when the new videos are coming up. Also, in the comments below, let me know if you've read this and what your opinion is. Also, you can leave suggestions of what you think I should be reading, because I'm always up for suggestions. I always love to hear what people have to say. And when you do comment, I will comment back. I comment on every single comment. So that way you'll know you'll be answered. Also, if you want to connect on GoodReads, leave your username in the comments below, and I will send an ad thing for you to kind of accept my invitation. And all you got to do is just see if it has the little logo that the YouTube page does here with the Upper Earth and Lower Earth for Michigan, which is where I am, and Tolkien's Middle Earth. So that's going to wrap it up for this one. And again, I appreciate you guys watching, and I will see you next time. And until the next book, see you then.